Hi, this is James Lynch with a Pop Books Update moment. I just want to share with you right quick. You hear me talk about double speak all the time, do you not? Well, not all the time, but I've mentioned it quite a bit since the year of 2020 coming in. There are other words or terms I could use, but I won't. Maybe you'll figure them out. But one thing I want to emphasize is, according to the good book, it really does tell us to respect the superior authorities. It also allows us to know, too, that in defense, of our faith and of the truth, we can also approach those authorities to let them know exactly what is happening that has actually encroached upon this person's rights or that person or what have you. You see, so we have that option, and it's very important to do so as well, because even in the book of Malachi, it talks about how God says, I've told you what is good, and what am I expecting back from you is just to be loving goodness and justice and being modest in walking with the true God, the grand creator. Now, with that said, I want to explain something that some persons may not know. There's a term, and if you look at the CDC website, that first they knew when they wanted to make sure people protect themselves from maybe a contagion that may be going around. They talked about physical distancing. And for years, that's just the way people express it. Hey, keep your distance. Hey, keep your physical distance. Hey, if you're sick, if you feel something coming on, stay home. Everybody else will work or what have you, you see. And that's the way it was done. That's the way it worked to the best of the situation, because there are some situations where no matter what is going on, you still have to have business. You still have to have a quality of life. That is period. That's the best way to do it. And meanwhile, you take other precautions and things of that nature, okay? And that's the way it's always been done. So I'm not going to get into the contagion or the medical side of things at all. I'm just telling you that normally in times past, no matter what was going on, and if there were a need for quarantining, so to say, it was normally the people who just had the infection. Okay. And remember, persons used to say, use your distance. Keep your physical distance. Well, isn't it something in this internet age that we came up with something called social distancing? Where do you really think that term came from? Remember, in the internet age, we heard of a new word called social media. So isn't it something how now we just, to make it more of a catchy remembrance, at the CDC, it says social distancing, also means physical distancing. But see, it has that term social distancing to it. So what has ended up happening in this case is, notice when some persons have had to go into lockdown mode, so to speak, there was no ability to communicate at all, or really, in the presence of somebody, they couldn't see your smile anymore. You see, it's made it harder for people to even communicate without always pulling out their masks for a lot of us, you see, who are considered essential workers. All right. But see, it's gone a step further. Even on the internet, everyone started sending out emails for this or that, which is understandable, saying due to this or that, we may not have enough staff to do this or that. Okay, but now here is my thought, and I like to mention it with Instagram. Why is the sign blocking other information at times for analytics that normally it would have been freely able to see. You see, the same thing that has happened in other ways of different resources that normally would have just been available, but now it's being blocked. Can't you still, once again, put that sign somewhere where it's not actually limiting something that was accessible at one time? You know, I could go more into it, but this was just off the top of my head to get you really interested in, there's really a term that used to be said, and it was said, you know, misery loves company. And then there's another expression that people have used when they saw persons always happy for a gift that somebody else got, was they were saying, you know what, that person is one person that's always happy for you no matter what. So my question is, are you one of those persons that's happy for people, or do you battle from time to time with misery loves company? Why am I asking this question? Because depending on what type of situation or responsibility that you have in life or occupation, it can really affect the type of decision that also affects other people's lives. Now, with that being said, right now there are some videos in the coffee section of the PocbooksCrypto.com website. You know, I share all sorts of things that's going on, news events and everything, from just regular YouTubers, you know, at times, even music. Well, I think you will find at least this one person who has a journalist experience and background. You may not, and see, and it doesn't even matter. You may not always agree with anything that he is saying or what have you, but there are points where the same way he has added his, he's more of a, I would call, editorial, a commenter on the news. So he does give a lot of just his opinions on how he just feels about this or that. Okay. And yet there are different facts that he shares at times. Now, maybe you feel differently about the facts. All the same, he at least shares facts from time to time. With that being said, I'm trying to encourage you. Go to the PocbooksCrypto.com coffee lounge session when you hear this. Really put on your thinking caps. Meditate on the same way that you have seen things done in a physical way, the same way it has been done with the internet and the censorship and all sorts of stuff that has been happening during this time. You may feel like, ooh, it seems like the same way we're feeling this in real life, they're making sure we're feeling it in the internet, you see? That's just a joke. Or is it just a joke? This is James Lynch. This has been a Pop Books Update moment. What are your thoughts on the matter? Have a wonderful day.